So Matcha Maiden then, I mean, obviously was a side hobby for about a year until you quit law. You're growing up in this Anglo-Saxon family. They don't really give a shit about whether you continue going with law or not. You've rationalized it to like, okay, I can come back to this anytime, which is a good point. And I had a similar thing because I did accounting, banking and finance, and I went into, my dad was like, you've got to be in a, like typical Greek, like you got to be a profession, you know, you got to do accounting or law or this banking or whatever. For me, it was like really liberating to eventually say like, fuck this, I'm not doing this area of work. And I had a guy that I worked with that had a similar personality and we're still really good friends with to this day. Had the same thing. It's just like it dampens the creative element of your personality, but you're always battling with like some voice in the back of your head that you got to keep doing this thing. I was just curious, like when was the aha moment when you realized you could sort of prove people wrong that actually it was the better choice?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. And I'm not even sure I could pick a particular moment. Like, I think it's beautifully simplistic and wonderful that to have an aha moment. I'm not sure that I did in that regard, in terms of the actual moment of liberation from the metrics and standards that I held myself to before versus showing that I could actually do whatever I wanted and still earn more than I earned at the law firm. I think it was a gradual process of really, it was very hard. And as you said, like it's very hard to let go of the ladder and the values that you've held yourself to for all this time, and that everyone around you thinks that promotions and, you know, all the things that you aspire to for so long, I don't think I even knew that I didn't care about them. Like you get so blinded by the gratification of productivity and other people thinking that you have an objectively successful life. And it does feel good to, go to it does. It feels really nice to go to a job that's respectable and that has a clear pathway and that you feel like you're progressing and you're learning. And I think that's almost why it's so dangerous, because you don't even notice that in that process a whole side of your personality, and maybe even the dominant side of your personality, is just getting stifled slowly.
Well, whose gratification were you looking for?
Interestingly, for me, I didn't have the parental gratification thing that a lot of other Asians might have in terms of the tiger parents who have those expectations. And that's, again, why I get even more confused, because I'm like, I was just trying to trick myself. Like, it wasn't even my parent. There was no external pressure. It was just me thinking, this is respectable. This is a good pathway. This is stable. I'm creating a future for myself. And it was a wonderful future for myself. I don't think I even would have hated it if I continued. It was more that slowly, as Matcha began to grow and as my creative tendencies started to have more of an outlet, and I sort of started to wake them up again through needing logos, writing copy, starting to do events and like talk to people in a different way and just reawaken this whole side of my brain. It was a slow, I reckon, a year or so process of realizing, oh my God, by contrast, the fulfillment I had in law is like paling in comparison to the fulfillment I feel when this side of my brain is given a chance to thrive. But in terms of the sort of liberation of like, oh my God, I've been completely able to let go of caring about what that world was. And for so long I had to say, I'm a lawyer. Like I had to tell people I've got a business, but I'm a lawyer. Like I still held on to that title for a long time.
It sounds like you were gratifying your identity then.
Yeah, I think so. But I reckon it was around the time where we started to be able to pay me the same wage as I was paid. It was actually, interestingly, never about money. My husband is quite financial metric based. I never have been. I'm much more fulfillment orientated. But when he literally sat me down and showed me the figures and were like, you are earning more than you were there, and obviously putting in a lot of work, like a lot of work and a lot of sacrifices, but we've built that up from nothing in a year's time, and you were in fourth year as an M&A lawyer, like, and you also could probably make that at Coles when you actually break down the hourly rate. When those metrics started to be highlighted to me of like, I wasn't walking away from what I thought I was actually jumping towards something so much more liberated and free and dynamic and exciting and
better
flexible.
Quality of life.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe I don't know why I held so much attachment to what I thought was successful, but this is so much more free.
Yeah.
Like I can go anywhere I want. I can take this business in any direction. I can learn anything. And